Hey, very good afternoon. Able to hear? Okay, so thanks for the warm welcome, Meghna. So it's really very good to see all of you, and I could see many are in the launch also to be in this kind of conference to exchange ideas. So when I just give speech, I would not say that it's going to be a one-way transactions or it is going to be a, a session which gets over by that. I would also like you to connect with me, or I would also like to connect with you even after the session. And anything which actually comes as a speaker engagement, I see that it's a kind of an interactions that we are going to take away, and it's going to be lasted forever in our life, right? So I would like to connect with you even after the session, and also of course in LinkedIn also, right? So with that, let's get into this session. So if you just see the topic of, AI in security versus AI for security, and as Meghna said, like we are also going to have few other sessions which is actually following up mine, and which you can see that how this is going to be implemented in that. So you can, we can also ask them that how all these things are being done there, right? So when you say AI, of course I would say that AI is not a new topic to us, be it AI, be it Gen AI, or be it Agentic AI, right? So I'm not just going to get into the depth of who is the father of AI, everyone knows. Who developed it, everyone knows. So we are not going to get into that, and we are also not going to get into what cybersecurity is that, because every one of you knows that it is what a cybersecurity is that, and how important it is for an organization to really have that implemented in your organization. Now when you say, as a CISO, if something new comes into my organization and we say that, we are coming up with an agentic AI bots for so and so activity. So my first response would be, right, how secure it is going to be when you are actually doing that, deploying it, or it is going to be ready for the go-to-market, right? So we'll be actually dwelling all those things. I'll not be giving much examples from the recent incidents which happened, because anyways, all those are actually available in the internet. So you will Google it and you will find it out, because we are all now a slave of agent, I would say, because everything that you do, agree? Because, after the lunch session, I would say that, Meghna, I think you all cheated me by giving this session after the immediate session of 2 o'clock, It's very difficult to keep the people energetic, because they'll be tired and they would have just had a heavy lunch. And of course, you give a lot of, variety for us to actually choose. So let's make it more interactive, I would say. And at the same time, let's also see that how it is going to be focused when we implement that in our company. Right? That's the agenda of this session. Okay. So with that, I would like to just start with this. I'll not read it. It's okay. We can read it later. But just let's get into it. Okay. So we are talking about AI, and we all know that the AI works with please, sir, madam, works with. Right? It works with data. So when you say data, right, it can be any data, right? Being a CISO of the company, I'll actually use certain things which I think the developers here, or the CIOs here, or the absolute practice engineers of AI ML department, or other practitioners will not like it, because I'll say like, okay, if you say data, I'll ask what kind of data it is, right? Whether it is a PII data, whether it is a health record, PHI data, or whether it is a sensitive data, or whether it is a credit card data. So whatever may be the thing, when you say data, data is the one, something which we are feeding into something, and we are going to get out of it. Get something out of it. So when you talk about AI in cybersecurity and all, I would say that this is a model which we are just going to use, and we are going to talk about. So data gets into the model is going to do something, and we are going to get the result, right? So together, everything, we say that, okay, this is the AI ops automations that I have done it. But when you talk about the cyber security of it, right, when you take the other end of it, see, of course, we all love, I don't know how many of you have traveled and then you have used, flight and then you have come. I don't know how many of you have used DigiYatra, right? So DigiYatra is one second, see, DigiYatra. So I love to use DigiYatra because it actually gives me the liberty to reach airport just an hour before. Agree? Agree? Correct. So I love to use it. So when I love to use it, obviously I'll be also seeing that how secure it is. Right? So DigiYatra uses face recognition, it uses biometric, and 99% it is actually safe. Right? And also I think last year actually I wrote a mail also to the support center because it says that in a day, all your previous travel history would be deleted. And it was actually a week. It was not deleted in my account. I mean, it was there. And even tomorrow, I think, yesterday I came, no, it'll be deleted. Mine is deleted. So I think you should write it out, right? So you should, see, this is one example of how it is. So the data retention is again a problem, right? So that's what I wanted to highlight here. So now with the data, what all can happen, right? Data poisoning, right? Data leakage, data exploitation. Now I think we both should sue them saying that, hey, you are actually keeping my data for such a long time, which I don't want you to keep, because you say that in 24 hours you're going to delete my previous data. So that is what is actually the cybersecurity is all going to talk about. How much of data it is being used, what is the poisoning that is being done, and how the poisoning is being done, and what is the different areas or what is the different ways in which you can actually find it out and then eliminate the issues which is associated with it, right? So when you talk about the data poisoning, data exfiltration, and then data leakage, so one thing is that we have to actually guardrail. We have to have a guardrail to protect it. Right? So when you say data poisoning or data exfiltration or data leakage, we generally say that what kind of cybersecurity controls that you can actually have in it, and then we say that, okay, please go for an encryption, so that even the data gets leaked, at least you will not know, where what kind of data it is, and then we say, okay, please give a multi-factor authentication, which is actually a level of, I would say a defense which you generally could have in terms of saving the data. And then we will say, okay, all these guardrails needs to be done in order to save this, okay, data. So what I'm trying to make you understand is that when we say that the AI ops automation is actually going to give a lot of advantages to us, it also has a lot of challenges that it brings in. So you have to actually keep track of all these additional security measures that you have to have in it to make sure that we are safe in using this AI, right? Now next comes the model, right? Maybe 2 years back when I started my PhD research in AI and cybersecurity, I was not knowing how to actually develop an LLM by using the platforms, right? So I thought like I have to, I'm not very good at coding, okay? That's why I choose this field. So I'm not very bad at coding. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this, and the defense doctorate always looks for the working model. So one of my friends said that, you have to actually produce a model, and for producing the model, you have to learn coding, which was not possible. But then he said, no, I'll give you an idea. I have a student as a service. You can use him to develop the model, and then you can present it in your PhD, which I did not want to do it. But now it is not so. With so many platforms and other things which is coming into the picture, supply chain, right? N8N, NVIDIA, OpenAI, everyone is actually preparing this model, keeping it to you, and you have to just plug and play, and then you have to use it. So now if you ask me, can I actually prepare a model? Yes, I do, and I've already done it for firewall reviews and object optimization, okay, by using N8N. And again, now the supply chain issues comes in, right? When I say supply chain, and when I say supply chain, it is very important for us to actually see a supply chain or see a vendor who has the cybersecurity embedded in it. Because there was one case, that's why I said, I'm not going to take an example of all these from the industries, which you already have it in Google. So let me give you my personal experience. So when I was working in my previous company, there was an open platform, which was actually used by my AI team in developing a bot, okay? And there was something called as a EULA. You know EULA? Yes, End User License Agreement. So in the EULA, it said that you can use my model, but when the model that you are developing reaches 200 consumption, okay, then it will be charged. Triple the price of what you can do it now. But our team did not see the EULA, and then we started using it. The moment it touched 200, then we got a very big bill, okay, with all those terms and conditions which was listed, and we had to pay. So it is very important that you choose the supply chain in such a way that they do have this contract signed with you, and also to make sure that it is not actually going to take something which you are not going to use, right? So that is one thing. Second thing is that you will be using APIs, right? when you are developing the bots, you will be using the API, the very weak link, even if you see the recent one, because we actually service them, so I can correlate it with my example, ABCD, Aditya Birla Capital Digital, right? There was actually a scam on the gold coins, digital gold coins, right? So even if you see that, the vulnerability was not in the system, the vulnerability was not in the application, the vulnerability was in the API. So that is also very important thing that you have to really look for. And the other one, you use plugins, definitely you will be using plugins. When you use plugins, you get extra provisioning of privileged access, and after some time you leave it and you forget it. And in my recent interaction with one of the client, we had actually a privileged escalation based on this. So these are some of the things we have to take care as a cybersecurity person to make sure that the model is really safe. And then comes the usage, and of course how to use it and all those things we have to take care. So now you tell me, AI doesn't exist in vacuum. AI is built on something, right? And that is what we call it as infrastructure. So many people say that, okay, I am good at AI, so I'm not going to trust about other things. And then when you say infrastructure, you have to also think about, what is the governance that you have for the infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, what do you say? Where it is hosted, or what kind of, type of the model that you're going to use, whether it is an on-prem, whether it is going to be cloud, whether it is going to be a private cloud, whether it is going to be a, hybrid cloud. All these infrastructures are very much required. Then you will say like firewall is there, okay, it is there. So in the way back in 2001 when I completed my engineering, at that time my first work was to actually configure an ISA firewall, right? At that time firewall was not very famous, antivirus was famous. So everyone were using antivirus. If you have antivirus, you are safe, right? So that was the trend there. And then firewall came in, then UTM came in, then cloud security came in. Then now you have SASE, you have WAF, you have CASB. I don't know what is going to come tomorrow, because even as a CISO, sometimes I get so confused that what am I doing, right? How much of controls that I have. So that's the state now, because the technology development, technology evolvement is that much high, right? So for all these, as a cybersecurity person, it's very much important that you have the infrastructure safe and then you have the governance safe. Right? So AI, Gen AI and Agentic AI, or whatever AI is going to come tomorrow, I really don't know. Every day, new AI comes in, and that's what is the technological development. And I think we are very lucky to be in this era because we have seen everything. But I don't know, there are many youngsters. We are very old ladies, aunties maybe, or parties maybe, right? So I've seen an era from 2000 to 2025, which is almost a 25 years of journey, where I've seen that how the transformation has gone from one place to the other place. And of course, if God permits, I'll be also seeing the next little bit of more decade to see that what's going to happen with this, right? And it's very interesting also. So with that, we will say, okay, I don't want to spend time because Meghna will be actually, where is Meghna? Now she will be telling me that please get out of the stage. CISA team is here. Mahendran is here to give you the next session. Actually, Mahendran is going to give the session of an automation which we are going to talk about now. So maybe after the session, we have to tell them that, boss, are you following all this? Where is Mahendran or the team, CISA team? CISA team is sitting here. Yeah, fine. So maybe your conversation with him should be, are you using AI for security and how are you using it for your security, right? If that is done, then I think, the speaker 30-minute session is actually successful for me. So these are the people who say, I love what always the Tim Cook says, because all his things would be supporting AI. So all the leaders are supporting AI because without that they are not going to do the business. That's for sure, okay? I love movies, so I've just given the example of it. Okay, fine. So in 2001, right, I don't know how many of you are 2001 batch, 2002 batch. Are you there, sir? When we completed 2002 batch, we had that problem. Now, what is that called as Y2K? Y2K. So we did not get jobs. I want to tell that, right? So what I had to do is that I had to join a college as a lecturer, right? What was the first topic? What was the first subject elective was given to me? Artificial intelligence. I did not know what is artificial intelligence. I only knew what is artificial, I knew what is intelligence. Intelligence is something in me, and then artificial is something I have to build artificial. That's how, as a final year student, I wrote the exam of TQM, Total Quality Management. Anyone, who comes and asks me what is total quality management, I will say that managing quality totally. So that's how we used to write the exams, and we used to, I don't know, here you may be genius, but that's how. By the way, I'm a gold medalist, but I don't know how I wrote the exams, right? On the final end. So the first thing which I did, because we have to prepare and then go for the exams, right? So first thing which I saw is that 2002, I think it was a movie on artificial intelligence, and I saw that movie, okay? I was really getting nervous because that was a final year students, and you know how the final year students are. I don't know how many students are there. See this. Arey yaar, these guys are actually, what do you call yourself? Gen Z, what do you call yourself? What kind of generations you are in? Alpha, beta, right, Gen Z. And we are boomers, right? Boomer auntie, boomer uncle, correct? So the first thing which I did, to actually cover up these people was that, the AI. So I saw this, and it was a beautiful emotions of a bond between a mother and a child. So AI was not new, AI was there itself at that. Then in 2010 to 14, our Chitti came in, right? Again, a beautiful love between a human and this thing. In 2024, it was a flop movie. Even I didn't like it, but what to do, yaar? Teri baaton mein uljha aisa jiya, right? Again, a love story between a robo and yeah. I think you please tell him the story once you finish the session. Okay, so these are the movies, because I love movies, so I said. In all these things, you could see that human intelligence presides, right? So if anyone comes and asks me that, am I going to lose a job? I say no, never ever. You are not going to lose a job. But the people who are not going to get transformed in using the AI is going to lose a job. See the transformation. I know many people are there from 2000. We used to have the button phone of 1100. Remember? Nokia, right? And now we have S25 Ultra. Where is it? I don't know how to use it. My daughter uses it for, what do we call it as? Picturizing or beautification of the photos, because whatever you want to do, you can do it. Earlier, there was one time when I used to go to the shop, I asked them to do the photo editing using Photoshop.
Okay,
now nothing, right? So we are very happy, and I'm telling you, we are not going to miss this, because every day we are using everything which is actually AI oriented, right? So next, with all these, it's okay. Now, I will not take anything out of it, but now I will say about this one, which we say that 65% of the organizations say that AI is critical for their cyber defense strategy because of budget, because of resource scale gaps, and because of organizations not giving you time to do the basic activities which requires the human intervention to a larger side. Example, I don't know how many of you are cyber security specialists, but if you see that, you just go for an audit and then you say that, when was your firewall review done last time? Then they will say, it was done 2 years back, 3 years back. And when you really want to do and then we will go and write it as a finding, and then we will come back. For addressing the finding, they will say, no, I don't have the resource bandwidth. Then it will go to the management and the board. Either the management will say two things. Either live with it, okay? Otherwise, they will say, okay, we'll see it in the next quarter. In between, I was actually working in a great NBFC bank, and I saw all this, because the budget approval is something that we have to really think about. Budget never gets approved. Agree, sir? Absolutely. Absolutely. Then there will be an incident, and then who will be sued?
Oh, it is there?
Right. And CISO will be definitely sued, So in my previous experience, there were 2 companies where I have seen this incident. And after that, cybersecurity becomes a decent collar job here. Whatever we say, actually we get the budget. But that's not there. So we ourselves would say that we need AI for the cyber defense strategy because of the quick turnaround time and the resource scale gap, and of course the budget optimization, right? So with that, this is the state of AI in business. So of course it is going to add up to $200 to $340 billion in banking, pharma, and e-commerce. The most predominant and the most sensitive industry, I would say, because it requires lots and lots of data to be handled. Okay? With that, you might be thinking that, I would have given a topic which is actually grappling of words. AI in security and AI for security. It is not so. AI in security is nothing but it is something embedded into the system that we actually work for. And AI for security is the intelligence built out of it. Now, there is a warrior and with a shield. And the warrior with the shield is like the metal embodied in the shield is actually the first one, AI in security. So now you build the smart tools around it, okay? So you are embedding something inside it. And now AI for security is that you take the same shield and you are actually going to build intelligence out of it. So that whenever someone is striking you with some cord or something, your shield is actually going to predict it, wheel the yield, and it is going to tell you, hey boss, now this is what is the status, and you work on it. So this is something, an enabler, okay? And being a cybersecurity person, I would say that I like both, but I love this also for my job to get easier, AI for security, right? So when you talk about these things, AI in security, I would say that endpoint detection and response is an AI in security. Firewall optimization, yes, of course. Then we will say biometric authentication using AI, DigiYatra, yes, that is there. Then AI-powered surveillance, which is happening in smart cities. But do you agree that there are sometimes when these people do this surveillance kind of things using CCTV, this Parivahan is actually unnecessarily sending me fines because I have crossed the signal. I never did so. I never did so. So it means that there is something wrong, okay? Now, AI for security is that when I told you that I am not given the budget and they say that what is the threat intelligence rate and you have to immediately tell me what is the advisory team is doing, then I will of course want to do this AI for security to see that. I think I don't know much about the tool which is going to come after this session, but I think they will be doing something on the threat intelligence itself. Then the generative AI detecting phishing. Phishing is one of the most thing because the last time also the Gartner report stated that more than 80% of your incidents comes from this unawareness of this phishing and other things. And it will not leave anyone. Even the CEO clicks it, even the CFO clicks it, and at the end they will say why CISO did not. Seriously, I heard this word saying that why as a CISO you did not block the email getting into my inbox. Right, sir? I think the sir is very impacted with whatever I am correlating. Examples. That's why I did not want to give anything what Google Chronicle did, what Google SecOps did. This is something which we are doing it everyday life, right? And so this is the difference between AI and the AI for security, okay? So when you say this AI in security gets embedded. That's what I said, you know, firewall, endpoint detection and resolution. And also when I was working in the NBFC, right, we did lot of AI using the fraud detection. So there will be, being an NBFC, you will get a lot of fraud. So the fraud detection was simplified using this AI, right. So it gets embedded, whereas that is actually an enabler. That's what I would say. Now you should really have that balance in your company for how much of applications you use the AI in security into it, and for how many things you use AI for the security which you are going to deliver to the organization as a service. Okay. So now one of the emerging challenges that we face when the AI grows and goes, which I told you in the beginning also, is that AI deals with data. And data is everything, and anything happens to the data, it is going to impact the entire business or the use cases that we are going to have. And I also gave the real-time examples of so many things, right? So the one thing which actually always tells me, or if you know, it makes me worried is AI phishing attacks. Okay, AI-based phishing attacks. So when I was in the NBFC, there was one exercise which certain actually carried out, and then they did this phishing exercise for almost everyone in the company. Not everyone in the company, they chose people from the different category and then they sent this phishing mails. And you know who actually clicked in and who did not click? The developers did not click. Who would have done that? Senior management. Okay, right? So now we are actually in the double-edged sword where we have to see that how we are going to track this. So now he says that, Kavitha, you have firewall, you have SOC, you have SIM implemented, you have antivirus also. Every time you are coming and asking me for all this budget, and you are saying email security is also there. Now, how come that mail was not detected and it was, you know, reported as a spam? I said, sir, it was reported as a spam only, sir, but you only actually quarantined, you released it from quarantine, and then you actually allowed it into the inbox. Then he said, No, Kavitha, it should not even come to my spam. It should be completely removed before it is reaching my server. What he says is okay, good, but we have to actually see the practical things. Then I said, sir, there is a checkpoint POC that we are doing for the email security, sir, for APTs. Can you actually show that? Kavitha, it is budget or free? Sir, it's budget, sir. How much is the budget? This money. No, we'll manage with this. But make sure next time it is not going to hit my server, huh? Sir, when sir is nodding the... Correct. So, now we have to be very careful on how all these needs to be handled, right? And sometimes it will not be handled, but you have to actually build up those extrapolated activities within your organization to do that, and that's why we are using an NA10. I'll tell you the example of it. NA10 is being used. So as a CISO, I did not allow them to use an NA10 as a free version because it had a lot of contractual and other aspects, because I don't know how many of you are using the NA10 free version. If you just go into the contract, you can say that if you are using a free version, they are actually going to use the data for their model training. So we said no, we are going to use a enterprise version. There are two versions of it, either an endpoint version or the enterprise version. Then we said, okay, we are going to use the enterprise version, and we paid, and then we are using it. So now, even then they are saying either they will be hosted in your organization or it will be hosted outside the organization. So for me, I'll be always preferring something which is hosted in my organization. So these are some things which you have to take when you are actually doing all these things, because you have to safeguard yourself from all these questions which I was telling, right? So as you may be students now, but you will be becoming executives, leads, managers, CXOs, and all these questions will follow. And I don't think this question is going to be discarded even after 2 decades, but budget is going to be at budget always. Alright, so one issue which I always find it out, yeah, you are not giving me the signal. Where is this Meghna? Because there are many things to cover, otherwise I'll skip it off and then go to the next. Okay, fine. So these are some of the attacks which I see: jailbreak attack, prompt injection attack, adversarial attacks, data poisoning attacks. I will not give you the the definitions, because you can see it in the Guru Mata ChatGPT, right? And I still remember when we were doing our graduations, we used to, at that time even only Yahoo was there, I believe. So at that time we used to run shop by shop to really take Xerox of all those books, and then we used to see when they are nodding the head, no, my goosebumps is coming, because we used to do that. We used to go to students' Xerox and take all these Xerox and then write something and get the marks of just 62 or 70. But nowadays the highest mark itself for getting pass mark is 90. That I really don't understand, right? So these are the different attacks that we have. And one thing which actually you should all do is that the implementation of the security solutions for all these things have to be like, what is the AI policy that you have defined in your organization? So this is very, very important for any cybersecurity professional, CISO, CIO, CXOs, that you have to have a policy, and you have to have a risk impact assessment which is being done, and you should have an AI governance council who is actually going to govern it. And it should be from legal, it should be from IT, it should be from your cybersecurity, it should be from the top management also, who would be part of the AI governance council, not only for budget but for everything that they are going to approve you for usage of that particular thing. And then secure life cycle. So secure life cycle, you don't have to go here and there. COSI is there, SAFE is there, SAIL is there. So all these are the things which actually is being given by OASIS. For COSI is given by the OASIS, who actually gives you all the activities that you have to do in order to take care of these cyber security activities. Then definitely please have an AI/ML Ops, SecOps audits, and you should also have an AI/ML monitoring tool which we have recently implemented to see that how many AI/ML projects are going on in your company, because over a period of time we just lose it, and for at least during the appraisal period I have seen that many people come forward with doing the AI Ops automation.
IT company.
Yes,
you did it. Wants to talk to us.
Right? And then you should have an AI specific incident response, and then the third party risk management. I told you, right, third party, we also paid a heavy amount to that EULA thing, right? And also you should have the ethical AI and responsible. Whichever country you belong to, I think you should really go to that AI usage ethical guidelines, and then you have to see that whether you are following it, like transparency, data utilization. So this we will skip it, and then you will see that this is the Yeah. Sorry. So this is the one which you have to really care about, data minimization. Please don't use the data more than what you are actually going to do. One simple thing is that when HR was actually doing some AI bots automation, they collected all our data along with the date of birth. So when I say date of birth, they also said the year of birth, right? So year of birth is actually something which you have to make sure that minimized data needs to be used. So these are some things. I think Meghna, you will be giving this decks to them, right, if it is required. So when all these things comes into the picture, so this will actually have all the guardrails for the AI implementation. And when all these things are done, then you will have the model training done appropriately, and then you can be using it at a very nice thing. So one thing which Tim Cook says, and these are all the standards and frameworks that you can refer in your organization to say that, you know, you can use this. And the last one which really Tim Cook says, which I really love, is that what all of us have to do is to make sure we are using AI in a way that is going to benefit the humanity and not to detriment of the humanity. And with that, I end up the session. Of course, it's a very 30-minute session. I think next time when someone is approaching me for this session, I should ask for a 1 hour, so make it more interactive. And thank you anyways, NASScom, for giving this opportunity. And thank you all, and see you outside. And let's actually hope to see that we are going to get a better and better AI in the coming years. Thank you, team.
Kavitha, we can have a Q&A for 5 minutes.
Sorry?
We can have any questions if they have,
please
and anyone has any questions?
Sorry?
Yeah, we will share the slides. I'll connect with you after this, and I'll, we'll see the best way to reach to you. Yeah.
Okay, so nice meeting all of you. So with that, the next team, CISA, is there. So I think Darshan is also here. Hi, Darshan. So they'll give you a demo of all these things we have told. So you can also train up your question, to ask that all these things are done when developing this. Darshan. Right?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Kavitha, for your wonderful session.